Hi, my name is Spoot Magoot, and thanks so much for checking out this video. We're gonna hop right to it, but the basic story here is that I was recommended this video last night while I was enjoying my little adult fruit snack gummy, and I really felt that I needed to return to it today while a little bit more cognizant, and I think you'll see why. This is like really perfect for this moment. All right, so I did a dumb thing. I recorded the entire video without pressing record. So this is now the second time I'm gonna try this. So forgive me if I'm a little bit like short because I already did all this. But so this is an interview with Malcolm X at Berkeley. So let's get started here.
Today, in our discussion of minority groups, we have with us two guests. One is Minister Malcolm X Shabazz, one of the top leaders of the Nation of Islam, or the so-called black Muslims. And we also have Mr. Herman Blake, one of the teaching assistants in the course.
Minister Malcolm, the thing that I thought might be good for starting it off is to talk about one of the most pervasive beliefs in the general society about the Nation of Islam, and that is that it is an organization dedicated to the use of violent means to attain its goals. The question I have is, how true is this, and why do you think it persists in society?
Well, the Muslims who have accepted the religion of Islam and follow the religious guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad have never bombed any churches, have never murdered any little girls, as was done in Birmingham, have never lynched anybody, have never at any time been guilty of initiating any aggressive acts of violence during the entire 33 years or more that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us. The charge of violence against us actually stems from the guilt complex that exists in the conscious and subconscious minds of most white people in this country. They know that they've been violent in their brutality against Negroes. And they feel that someday the Negro is going to wake up and try and do unto them as they have do unto the whites as the whites have done unto us. We aren't a violent group. We are taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to obey the law, to respect everyone who respects us. We're taught to display courtesy, to be polite. But we're also taught that at any time anyone in any way inflicts or seeks to inflict violence upon us, we are within our religious rights to retaliate in self-defense to the maximum degree of our ability. We never initiate any violence upon anyone, but if anyone attacks us, we reserve the right to defend ourselves. So to accuse us of being violent is like accusing a man who is being lynched, who is being hung on a tree, simply because he struggles vigorously against his lyncher. The victim is accused of violence, but the lyncher is never accused of violence. And I only point this out because the various racist groups that are set up in this country by whites and who have actually practiced violence against blacks for 400 years are never associated or identified or made synonymous with the term violence. But whites speak of Muslims almost synonymously with violence. Whenever Muslims are mentioned by them, violence is brought up, but it's not connected with any other group. This is a sort of a propaganda tactic, or what I would call psychological warfare, to in some way make the image of the Muslims in this country be a violent image rather than a religious image.
So particularly this clip made me think a lot this week, the week of Trump's inauguration, about how the media has been talking about undocumented migrants, and particularly how they are so criminalized in the media, when in reality, they're just people, and overwhelmingly not criminal, and have not reacted with violence. And yet the only image that we are given is one of these are criminals pouring across the border, they need to be stopped and whatnot.
I'd like to ask a question in that regard. What's interesting is that members of the Nation of Islam have not used violence even when black Americans were attacked. How do you account for this? Does this in any way contradict some of the basic premises of your movement?
I don't know how you mean.
Well, you maintain, for example, that you will not, or that you should not use violence unless you are attacked by the white man. And I think we can note in the last several years, certainly, dozens and dozens and dozens of instances in which Negroes have been attacked, killed in some instances.
You mean in these demonstrations?
These demonstrations and the bombings, for example, recently in Birmingham, where they killed 4 little Negro girls. And what interests me is the fact is that the Nation of Islam has not done anything to retaliate.
I think you should be happy.
But the important thing is, does your lack of action contradict any of your basic principles?
I'll explain it. You should be happy that Muslims who follow the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, number one, don't believe in any form of integration, and who believe that.
See, he takes a very interesting perspective here, and this perspective has shifted throughout the years with different movements within civil rights, Black Lives Matter and stuff. So Malcolm X did not believe in integration, and hear him out though. Let me meet you at the end of this clip.
That every mention of the word integration by whites, whether it be from the mouth of Kennedy on down to the mouth of the lowest, raggediest white liberal in the street who is beatnik-like involving himself in these integration efforts, if we believed in it, we would integrate, and we would fight anybody who got in our way or made any effort whatsoever to stop us from integrating. If we really believed that the law of the land, the Supreme Court, and other so-called judicial bodies were for real when they talked about integration, we would integrate. And knowing that the law was on our side, and any effort we made to demonstrate toward integration, why, we would know the law should be on our side, if it's the law of the land. If it is the law of the land, then the demonstrators are within the law, and the discriminators are against the law. But to show you the hypocrisy of the law, when Negroes demonstrate for integration, instead of arresting the discriminators, the law arrests the demonstrators. So this is a foolish move on the part of Negroes. And when you foolishly get yourself involved with an enemy, then whatever comes upon you, that's your business. As Muslims, we believe that separation is the best way and the only sensible way, not integration. And but on the other hand, when we see our people being brutalized by white bigots, white racists, we think that they are foolish to allow themselves to be beaten and brutalized and do nothing whatsoever to protect themselves. They are foolish. They should have the right to defend themselves against any attack made against them by anyone. If a dog is biting a black man, the black man should kill the dog. Whether the dog is a police dog, a hound dog, or any kind of dog. If a dog is sick on a black man, when that black man is doing nothing but trying to take advantage of what the government says is supposed to be his, then that black man should kill that dog, or any two-legged dog who sicks the dog on him.
Should other black men help that particular person who was attacked?
I think you'll find, sir, that there will come a time when black people wake up and become intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, as other humans are intellectually independent enough to think for themselves, then the black man will think like a black man, and he will feel for other black people. And this new thinking and feeling will cause black people to stick together. And then at that point, you'll have a situation where when you attack one black man, you are attacking all black men. And this type of black thinking will cause all black people to stick together. And this type of thinking also will bring an end to the brutality inflicted upon black people by white people. And it is the only thing that will bring an end to it. No federal court, state court, or city court will bring an end to it. It's something that the black man has to bring an end to himself.
So, starting from the beginning, Malcolm X believed in separation, not integrating, because of the inherent risks current in his time, 1963, with integration, that the white people of the time did not view him and other black people as fully human and were enacting great violence upon them. And so as a protective strategy, they wanted to remain distinct, separate, and non-integrated with the white people of the time. So he goes on further that talks about how when protesters and demonstrators are attacked, they choose this like non-violent route. They don't stand up for themselves and defend themselves. In a way, it's like of course, it's understandable. The demonstrator does not want to be like further hurt, beaten, or accused of being violent. That is my cat Squeakers adding to the conversation. So he is saying that if the black person in this scenario fully viewed themselves as a human being who is worthy of self-defense, who deserves to walk unmolested on the street, who deserves, integration, civil rights, they would stand up for themselves, or should. And he goes even further than that by saying it won't stop until the black people recognize their collective humanity, who they look at each other and they see a fellow person and help each other, defend each other, and work in solidarity. At that point, that is when the violence would stop, because then the white people would have a problem beating up on any singular black person if everyone is always going to step in and step up for each other. Now, this led me to have a couple of realizations last night where I realized, oh my God, like truly what this means on like a very subconscious and deep level is that, not only were black people not fully recognizing their humanity, but white people like did not see their humanity at all. Like they did not view black people as human at all. And so that there was like a part of me, I realized that in learning about the civil rights and learning about slavery, I believed that they were saying these things almost like tongue in cheek a little bit, like, they're not really human, because how could you, for example, deny the humanity of Malcolm X and other people like him? You're literally having conversations with these people. You are looking at a thinking, breathing, feeling man. How could you not view him as human? And so I recognized on my part that that was a complete misjudgment of the white people of the past on my part. Number two, I recognize the connection to the present day struggles, particularly with Trump and undocumented immigrants. This idea that if white people truly believed that undocumented migrants were humans, fully human people with lives, with families, with thoughts, beliefs, and everything, just as they were, they would not stand for all of what we are currently hearing in the media. The criminalization of all undocumented migrants, and the fact that overwhelmingly undocumented migrants are not violent people at all. They're just regular people. They're just people who have looked at the situation in their home countries and have decided that they can find better opportunities for their families, for jobs, for whatever it may be in America. Just think about the fact that as Trump was inaugurated, as he was elected, so many white people, the very first thing they said was, I'm moving to Canada. I want to go to Europe, because that is a normal human thing to do, is to want to go and seek better conditions, to want to have a better life for your children and for your own future. And so if we were to fully recognize the humanity of each other and of our fellow humans, we would be unstoppable against those in power who are orchestrating this, who want to divide and conquer us. And that's not saying like tomorrow we're all going kumbaya and like hugging each other. It's literally just treating each other as human beings. Like, hey, how are you? How's it going? Like, what are you up to? What are you working on? Like, literally just being a human. I'm not saying you have to like everybody, but like, you can't demonize people and view people as subhuman, not only on a overt stage, say the media, but also recognizing where you sort of have these like deep subconscious thoughts and beliefs that you're not aware of, such as his reminder that a lot of white guilt complexes comes from this inherent belief that Black people would be violent to white people in the same way that white people were violent to Black people, if they're given rights, if they're given full legal personhood, for example. What is the fear here in the media if, for example, the undocumented migrants become fully human legal people to them? What is the guilt and fear complex that is keeping them trapped in that rhetoric and that state of mind? And I think that has to do with recognizing the inherent violence that is done in dehumanizing these people. It is essentially killing their humanity on a ideological, on a subconscious level. And that is a violent act. It is in, killing your own recognition of the person that is standing before you or that you hear about on the news or see around in your community. So the response and the answer here is to continue to humanize every single person, to fully recognize that every single person that you see, that you hear, that you come across, that you hear being talked about on the media is a human being with full personhood, thoughts, beliefs, feelings, experiences, normative like drives to want a better life for yourself. They have hopes and dreams and goals and plans. And recognizing that humanity of every single person is what is going to enable solidarity, to be able to resist the ruling class that is enacting this violence upon us. So that is my message and thoughts for today is to keep humanizing each other, keep loving each other no matter what, and working forwards in solidarity with all people everywhere for the liberation of us all. And I think we are getting close in our lifetimes. We just have to keep fighting the good fight and thinking these good thoughts and listening to our elders like Malcolm X here. So thanks so much for listening. And I hope that was helpful. Have a great rest of your day and I love y'all. Bye.